The signal was always there, hidden in static, buried in fragments, in usernames, whispers, metadata. Old forum posts, deleted tweets, dark web echoes, and the stories people thought nobody would ever find. Before hashtags became headlines, before open source intelligence became a buzzword, two women were already living it. One came from military intelligence, Arabic linguist, warfighter support, CIA, DIA, innovation labs built before the world understood why they mattered. Kirby Plesses, founder, builder, teacher, operator. A service-disabled veteran who turned intelligence tradecraft into a global classroom. More than 25,000 investigators trained, FBI, DEA, federal agencies, corporate teams, analysts chasing fraud, criminal networks, terrorist financing, human trafficking, cryptocurrency trails, and digital ghosts hiding in plain sight. From South by Southwest stages to international crime conferences, Kirby helped shape modern OSINT before most people could even define it. And while the internet evolved, she kept teaching people how to see through it. Then there's Sarah Womer, researcher, instructor, analyst, editor, OSINT practitioner for more than 2 decades. Long before social media dominated the battlefield, Sarah was studying how extremists would weaponize online platforms. In 2008, she authored reports projecting terrorist use of Twitter before the rest of the world caught up. Fort Huachuca, the 304th Military Intelligence Battalion, training soldiers, building curricula, publishing operational intelligence products, teaching analysts how to think, not just what to search. Baghdad during the invasion of Iraq, Riyadh, the State Department after September 11th, counter disinformation, counter extremism, hostile propaganda analysis, a career spent decoding influence, narratives, and the psychology behind information warfare. And somehow, through all of it, still making time for rescue hounds and laughter yoga. Different paths, same mission, to understand the world through the evidence people leave behind. Together they became OSINT IRL. Not just a show, not just a podcast, a conversation between practitioners, a place where tradecraft meets humanity, where investigators, analysts, journalists, researchers, and curious minds pull back the curtain on the digital world we all live inside. This is about more than tools. It's about intuition, pattern recognition, curiosity, context, the art of seeing what others miss. Because the internet never forgets, and neither do they. Welcome to OSINT IRL.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Kirby. How are you doing?
How are you? Good, good. We're on at a weird time today, or this week, because I had a heat emergency yesterday, no AC. It's really important in Arizona, as it turns out.
Definitely.
So now it's really late for Sarah, so she's staying up late again for us, but hopefully soon we'll all get close to the same time zone.
Yes, we will. Yeah.
So Sarah, our topic today, go ahead.
I have coffee, so I'm good.
She's got her caffeine. I have my flavored water. Okay, so today we're going to talk about the Bricks and Minifigs saga. Sarah, how much do you know about this?
A little bit. So I know that a grandfather had consigned his Legos, and that it had been appraised at different values, and then he wasn't able to get the Legos back.
Yes, I'm going to give you a whole rundown. So we have, LinkedIn's not telling us who you are today, but hello, LinkedIn user. Thank you. So yeah, I'm going to give you the rundown, and then we're going to talk about some of the OSINT in one aspect of the case. The thing is, this case is, if you haven't seen anything about it yet, then you definitely have been not on the internet, probably. I'm not sure, but even in the news, I've seen people talking about it. It is crazy, and it's all Oregon and Utah, so it's not as if it's local to me. But well, let me run you down the story. And like I said, there's so many legs, and it's ongoing, so I'm not going to have the whole thing, right? But anyway, the story so far. Once upon a time, in a galaxy far, far away, Salem, Oregon, right? A grandfather, he was investing into unopened Star Wars Legos kits, so he bought them as an investment. And I guess he wasn't feeling well, and he decided that it was time to sell. So this is Cynthia. Hey, Cynthia. Thank you for being here. Yay. Okay, so, he decided he was going to sell it. So his son decided to take him to Bricks Minifigs. And Bricks Minifigs is a shop in, I don't know how many places, but it's headquartered in Utah. And the whole idea of Bricks Minifigs is that it's the Lego cult, basically. And people who buy and sell Legos, whether they're new or used, etc. There's a lot of people who are buying and reselling. So when I say cult, I say that lightly, but let me tell you, I'm in my own little cult, so don't worry about it. But it's like a fandom, right? Big fandom. And as from what I understand, Bricks and Minifigs is the main chain company that actually does do the reselling of Legos, and that they have a lot of different franchises all over the place. So he takes it to the franchise in Salem or near Salem, Oregon. It might be a suburb of Salem. I'm not entirely sure exactly physically where it is. But the woman who owned the franchise put them on consignment and took the amount. And she had originally advertised that they were about to release a collection worth about $200,000 of these Star Wars unopened Lego packages. So they have their opening, they have them on the shelves, they're selling, some of them, etc. But then the woman and the husband decided they were going to move to Spain. And there's some kind of question in there as to whether they decided to move to Spain and just give up the franchise, or if the franchise was really deeply in debt and it was going to be closing anyway. And so these two decided to move to Spain. It's really kind of ambiguous. So this was not communicated to the grandfather who had them stuff on consignment. So when the store was taken over, later, the grandfather's son, Brian, went to the franchise and said, hey, where's my collection? And where's my, where's our check? Are we still on consignment here? And the people who were in charge of the franchise at that moment told him they didn't know what he was talking about, which of course set his antenna up, because $200,000 worth of minifigs or worth of Legos, right? Turns out that the collection was not worth $200,000. It was somewhere between $80,000 and $120,000. That's still a lot of money. And a good chunk of it was still available, or still supposed to be available, at that Bricks and Minifigs location. So the son, Brian, went to the franchise and demanded the collections back. They don't even know, if the collections were there. The new owners say they're not going to give it back. And so somehow, I don't know how exactly, but a YouTuber named Reckless Ben gets involved. And this is the thread we're going to pull, is the Reckless Ben thread. But Reckless Ben, a YouTuber, begins a campaign to try and get the Legos back. Before he even starts the campaign, he knows he's going to be trying to make a big splash with it and get a lot of eyes on it. So one of the things he does, he knows he's going to be annoying. Even before he starts to become active, he tricks one of the employees into signing a contract that would make it so that he would never be able to they supposed to be able to call the cops on him and have him I'm using a word where he's on their property. Trespass. Thank you. Trespass. I don't know. Sometimes I just lose words like that. But he signed a contract that would make it so that they couldn't trespass him, and that every time they did, they'd have to pay him. So after he does this fake delivery and gets her to sign that document, he then walks into the store separately, demands the Legos back. The store manager, she feels harassed, and so she does call the police on him, and he has to leave the store. And it's unclear as to whether the Legos are actually in the store, although he does claim to have seen some Star Wars Legos in the store. So then come the shenanigans. There's actually a huge list of all the shenanigans, but I'm going to give you a short list right now, what I consider a short list, and there's a lot more. I'm going to give you some places to look at for all this material on YouTube as well. So the first thing is he tries to investigate the alleged theft. He confronts the store, and he actually calls the corporate leadership as well. When he calls corporate leadership, they tell him that's the franchise's issue. When he calls the franchise tells him, oh, talk to corporate. Separately, the family had gotten in contact with the former franchise owners, and they sent him a video of when the new franchise owners, they were at the time working under direction of corporate, came in to take over the store, and where they had said, hey, we've got some stuff on consignment here, and the new owners said, hey, look, that's a business issue, that's not a you issue, we'll take care of that, and shoot him out of the store, basically, right? So it was kind of like a hostile takeover of the store, and they do have a video where they did claim that they did kind of highlight that they had some consignment stuff where they were told that it's not their problem anymore. So that they're still in this as well. So then Reckless Ben uses publicity campaigns. He creates some viral content, social media pressure campaigns to draw attention. He's trying to make ignoring the issue more costly than resolving it. He creates parody businesses and organizations. One of his notable ones is he created a company called We Steal from Old People, where he takes on the name and logo of the Bricks and Minifigs, and he uses that as his tagline so that he thinks legally use it in his marketing, which he sets up a stand right in front of the franchise. He also put up a lottery, because he read that if somebody tries to steal from a lottery, that is a criminal offense and that somebody would get arrested. So he's thinking that if he did a lottery for these Legos that Brian owns, and Brian's there with him doing the lottery, that because they're in the store, if the store doesn't give up the Legos, then the store would be stealing the Legos. Mm-hmm. All right. He attempts employee infiltration. He recruits employees, and he tries to gather information. He calls them a cult, and he says that the employees are brainwashed. So he wants to brainwash back these employees. So he takes them, off and gives them a great time and whatever, and becomes good friends with them and tries to brainwash them back to get more information. He tries to force some small court litigation. So I think one of the things with this is, in the beginning, it should have gone to court in the first place, right? This should never have gone like this. But apparently the large, starting the case on Brian's side, which he should have started before even talking to Reckless Ben, was going to be expensive, and corporate or someone had told them that it was going to be way more expensive than the Legos are worth, and that they would stretch it out and make sure that it was. Right. Mm-hmm. So Reckless Ben decides, okay, well, what's not expensive is small claims court, but this is $80,000+ worth of Legos he's talking about, and small claims court will only let them go up to $10,000. So he creates a scam, or not a scam, but a scheme. Here we go. That's the right word. Where he's getting a lot of other people to pay $10,000 each to him. So now they own those little bits of Legos that are in there. And so now they can all sue for $10,000. Turns out that's not legal either. He tries to serve paperwork for these court dates in unconventional ways. For example, he also sets up a banner across the street from one of the people's houses, which becomes a big part of this, because the banner that is across the street from the person's house ends up, the cops are called, etc. It's legal, it's not legal. The serving paperwork's legal, it's not legal. He eventually gets arrested there, where he claims that they twisted his arm and dislocated his shoulder. And then it turns out, was it just his shoulder dislocated the day before on a ski slope, or was it not? Things like that. So it's really interesting the way everything happened. And the thing that I want to point out is, throughout his video, and I'm going to give you a video link and a little taste of the video here in a moment. Throughout his video, he makes a lot of claims that he says, here's evidence, this is legal, this is the law, this is how, it has to be, whatever. None of which have any real legal backing. Now, the story he has gets some traction, of course, because who wants to see some corporation stealing somebody else, somebody's saved money that's supposed to go toward their grandchildren, right? So, well, Reckless Ben has a good mission. He has but the way that he's doing things, I feel like he thinks that he's doing things legally based on his Google research, right? So I don't necessarily say that I don't necessarily think that Reckless Ben is an evildoer or anything like that. I think he's careless and kind of he's a character. We'll just say he's a character, and now let me show you that right now. So we'll kind of start with the video that he released after a lot of the shenanigans already, where the first part one of, there's 3 parts, part 1 of 3, and I believe part 2 is still up. Part 3 is never going to be released, apparently. It's gone on his Patreon. But let me anyway show you a little bit of part 1. So here's part 1.
This man spent his life collecting what's now known as the world's largest LEGO Star Wars collection ever. It's estimated to be worth around $200,000. And then the entire thing got stolen, and the police are actively working with the thieves to cover the entire thing up. But the craziest part is that the collector doesn't even know that his collection's been stolen. Yeah, the collector's son, Brian, well, he reached out to me because he has no clue how to break this news to his dad.
At this point, my father had a health episode. We can't bring any stress to him.
So get a little bit of the flavor. Now this blurring, I don't think that blurring was in it when I was first watching it. So that might be a little after the fact when having to do with some of the legal stuff that's going on. So anyway, a link is in the show notes, which are already there. So you can look below or above or wherever all the content is. And notice there's 5.8 million views. And this is from 3 weeks ago. So this thing started 3 weeks ago. Longer than that ago, because actually when he was out doing the kind of shenanigans, he was posting on other social networks. All right. Let me show you this is a little bit after. He claims to have gotten Bricks and Minifigs leaked email. I have a bunch of links that I have for you in the show notes that have little bits in it that I think are important. One of the things in here is his claims to what he thinks are legal. This is pre-talking to a lawyer.
Corporate Bricks and Minifigs sent out an email to all of their lower franchises, basically instructions on how to deal with our documentary we made about them. And we got a hold of this email. The email leaked online.
And now we're just going to read through this. I haven't seen this at all. So, dear franchisees, as most of you are aware.
So again, in this one, he starts making some claims about legal truths, etc., that I don't think he knows much about. Again, he's just kind of Googling things, or maybe, I don't know, maybe the Reddit or TikTok people, they're getting their minds together. But the thing is, he really needed to talk to a lawyer specifically at that point. You'll find that he does get arrested, right? So we have a little video of him getting arrested.
Right.
Oh yeah, should I?
Yep.
Go back.
Yeah, go ahead and stand up. I got an officer right here that's has cuffs for you.
Well, I was
I don't know
hoping
why
to
I'm
hear
grabbing
Josh's side of the story because I think he's said a lot of lies.
Right.
To you guys.
Anyway, sorry about that. I didn't mean to subscribe to him. But let's see if I can get this looking better. There we go. But I want to point out that 4.4 million views on just this video. This is just a little video. Well, it's not that little, 41 minutes, but about him and his arrest.
Is an interesting name because
We've got
his whole story is kind of a
the Runkle, Runkle the
it's
Bailey.
kind of a telenovela, and Ammon is really built to be like a villain name. It might cause him.
Let me point out, Ammon is the owner of the corporate. All right, so he's kind of now. This is Runkle the Bailey. He's kind of going step by step, and this is one of the videos that I think is definitely worth watching. It's almost 2 hours long, so it's a long video, but it goes through step by step, like the legal parts about what the issues that Reckless Ben did. It has nothing to do whatsoever with them and with the corporate or the minifigs. It's like, here's the steps Reckless Ben did. Here's the steps he should have done. And I think this is a really great video for that. And that's probably why it's so long. But let me get you through this clip because I think I have a good clip right here that I wanted to share.
Some difficulties. I don't know. So Ammon and Matthew are owners, executive officers, and principals of BAM, with Ammon serving as chief executive officer. The McNeffs, with other owners, have invested substantial time, resources, and capital in developing and protecting the Bricks and Minifigs brand, goodwill, and franchise system throughout the United States. I feel like the protecting the goodwill has not been going so well lately, because right now I think Bricks and Minifigs probably has negative goodwill with their customers is the worst part. It's not just like the general public, it's specifically the general public who is interested in Lego, which is what they sell. So that's a problem. So upon information and belief, Schneider and Reckless Ben LLC operate under the online doing business as name and persona of Reckless Ben, and including as a YouTuber and content creator with a substantial following on YouTube and related social media platforms, including paid streaming services through or on Patreon, Discord, TikTok, Reddit, and Instagram. I'm just going to note here.
I'm not sure exactly what part it was, but this thing, I want to highlight that Runkle's reading through the court document of Bricks and Minifigs suing Reckless Ben. All right, so this is the suit against and all the step-by-step things that Reckless Ben has done to them, and then the different contracts that they had against Crystal and Benjamin, who were the original franchise owners. So there's a lot here. I mean, I'm talking about this. We're still kind of getting the background about what the heck is going on with this, and we're like 21 minutes into this video already. Let me highlight a couple.
Kirby, you cut off for just a second.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I didn't change it? Well, good, because like the audio would just like took off on me. So let me get back to the beginning here on that one. And let me change this. Sorry about that. I'm like over here going, oh, gosh, it just went. All right, here we go.
And it actually might be worse than you think. Or it might be better. It depends. It's complicated. But one thing is for sure, it's definitely different. Did Bricks and Minifigs steal $200,000 worth of Star Wars Legos from an 83-year-old man? Well, the truth is more complicated than you might think, and it actually might be worse than you think. Or it might be better. It depends. It's complicated. But one thing is for sure, it's definitely different than you think, because there is a lot of misinformation out there. Because everyone is getting this case wrong. But this case...
All right, so now Legal Eagle jumps in on it. He's not taking the suit against Reckless Ben angle. He's taking what really happened at Bricks and Minifigs angle. So he's going through and saying, okay, this person said this person said that, going through the steps to where we are now and what should have happened as far as the different suits. Like I mentioned, there's a bunch of different angles that are going on. There's yet another one. Okay, now this thing, it seems to like run as soon as I click on it. So let's see.
$1,000 Lego collection went missing, causing a lot of you to ask me to find it. And after seeing the cops point guns at YouTubers, people get arrested and sued for $1.3 million, I decided enough was enough. This looks like a case for the internet detective.
All right, and so CoffeeZilla jumps in, and everybody, I don't know if you know me, I think CoffeeZilla is pretty cool. He takes a whole different thing. Instead of identifying what Reckless Ben did wrong, instead of identifying what Bricks and Minifigs did wrong, he's like, where are the Legos? Now, yeah. It's a whole different one. Like, where are these Legos? Are they in the store? Are they not in the store? Because it was always very ambiguous. So it's really, really interesting. I do suggest you go find CoffeeZilla and watch this one. Does he find the Legos? I'd say not exactly right now. However, I think what we do find is that there's not $80,000 worth of Legos missing. Mm-hmm. So interesting. And one last video that I want to highlight. Oh, and this one didn't run automatically.
The allegations sound bizarre. They involve fake UPS disguises, homemade signs outside a private home, volunteers recruited on Instagram, stolen Star Wars Lego sets, and somewhere in the middle, police body cam footage captures officers openly debating whether any law is even being broken. So what actually happened here? Did Reckless Ben cross the line from investigative activism into criminal harassment? Or is Utah trying to criminalize speech that the First Amendment protects?
All right, and so this guy, he's kind of going off on the who's doing wrong thing, but he takes a whole nother aspect of that too, especially in dealing with the way that law enforcement handled it toward the end of the activities in the case as well. So there's so many different aspects of this case. We're about 25 minutes into this video, and we're just now at the point where I'm going to say, hey, Sarah, do you have any questions about this?
Right. So before I start questions on it, I just wanted to make one observation, which was the other aspect of this is that the way that Reckless Ben engaged in this theoretically is a model for somebody else for an online influence activities.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. This is this is influencer stuff, right? I mean, his name is Reckless Ben, so of course he's going to do it in a reckless way, but it can be used as a model, especially if he's successful. I have a feeling this is going to be very unsuccessful, although word is that he's made a lot of money off of these videos before already, and that he's donating some of it at least to the people who lost the Legos, but he's probably also going to need quite a bit of that for his own legal defense on some of these cases.
Right.
But you're right. I mean, you could expand on this on a bigger scale or on a smaller scale if things need to be, done or whatever. But I'm going to say that unless the people are let me put it this way, first of all of our characters, we got all these different people. I mean, I have a little list of them. We got the grandfather, the son, we've got Reckless Ben and his crew, we've got the former franchise owners, we got corporate, we got the new franchise owners, we got the new franchise employees, and we got the police. All of these people, the only people who I think haven't done anything wrong is the grandfather, and that's because he's sick and he's not available, right? So I don't know if the police actually did anything wrong or not. That's stuff to be debated as well. But everything else, all the rest of the people in here, it's this could have been handled differently. All of their cases. And so if you try to follow his steps as a map to get something done influence-wise, unless you have this cast of characters, you may not be so lucky.
Right. And the other aspect, I think, is also from a corporate reputation perspective, looking at how that companies need to look at how social media can be utilized to make them more unpopular or not, to delegitimize them. So what you would typically see in delegitimizing an adversary is now being used to delegitimize corporations by influencers on YouTube. So I just thought that was also interesting.
Yeah, definitely. And it's really kind of goes with a little bit of your history with some of the terrorist organizations and that sort of thing.
Right. So, but going to questions, the first question I have, and please excuse my voice because I'm just getting over a bout of laryngitis. But did the Mansell collection actually exist in the form that was claimed?
So the answer right now is nobody knows. All right, let me go back to a bunch of the different claims. So the Mansells, who are the owner, the grandfather, son, etc., they have paperwork showing that the high-low of the value of this collection is between $80,000 and $120,000. The claim of $200,000 was a pre-itemized claim that they used for marketing, that the original franchise owners used for marketing. And so that they gave up somewhere between $80,000 and $120,000 that was on some of these lists or on the logs. According to the logs, it may be that some of the ones that were on the logs were never actually taken into the collection to the store. They were left at the house. I don't know. And then in the store, there's logs where there's some that were on the shelves and some were in some kind of storage. Although the original franchisees say that, yeah, they were just storage in the beginning, but then they were brought back on to the facility. But it wasn't noted in the logs. So did it ever really exist in that form? No idea.
I think that, like, to me, it would make sense, like, for this version of it would be to use analysis of competing hypotheses and cite the different sources that relate to each competing hypothesis.
Mm-hmm. And we could do that via AI. Let me go and get to my AI tool for that. Let me make sure that it's in a good way to be seen. All right, let me see. All right, so I'm going to share this tab instead. So I have a ChatGPT AI ACH analysis assistant GPT. And so this is just something that I made on ChatGPT. I'm going to share that into the comments. From what I understand, the comments don't go to LinkedIn. So I'm sorry, they're not going to show up on LinkedIn, but if they will show up on YouTube and Twitch. And that's my, or you can search for it. Also, what's really interesting, if you go to search for it, it's not going to say my name. It's going to say by a community user. I don't know, something the way that I set up my corporate account makes it so that I can't claim my own GPTs, but that's fine. But anyway, here's my ACH analysis assistant. And what we can do is we can say, okay, so in the Bricks and Minifigs case, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where are the Legos? H1. What is H1 going to be? Our first hypothesis. Yeah. Okay. So we'll say
they were sold to get money to go to Spain.
And might say sold by the original. Sold by original franchisee. I don't know how to spell franchise. Okay, franchisee. To get money to go to Spain. I'm going to put this in parentheses because, I mean, they could just be sold for whatever reason, pay off the debts or whatever. Okay. H2. Still in the building.
Still in the building, yes.
H3. One of the things that CoffeeZilla said is that was never in that whole format in the first place. So I'll say was not real in the first place.
Franchise needs an R in it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. There. Grammarly helps me too.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
All right. Was not real in the first place. All right, now then H4, stolen by corporate. H5, stolen by new franchisee. Do we have anything else?
Well, I'm sure we could, but I think that's probably a good start.
Okay. So now this tool, it doesn't want to do it for me, so it's not going to go and find the answers. So it's giving me the disclaimer first. It's going to lay this stuff out. First thing we have to say, is the stuff mutually exclusive? Because we want our choices to be mutually exclusive. So it'll go through and help us out. So we need to focus this a little bit more. So it's giving us, here's its suggestions. Original franchisee, remove the Legos through sale or transfer. The logos remain hidden, misplaced, or stored. The Legos never existed in the claimed quantity. Corporate removed or took control. New franchisees removed or stole. Third party removed or stole. And the Legos were lawfully relocated. Inventories are stored offsite by someone other than the original franchisee. All right, so now it wants us to provide evidence. So we're supposed to go and say all the different evidence that we have. Now, I'm not going to do that right now because we have some other questions to do and we don't want to stay here forever. But you get the idea where we're now going to throw in everything that we have, and it's going to walk us through and ask us questions about this and help us identify what's most likely based on the evidence that we have. So that's going to be really kind of interesting. And maybe I'll go through and finish it and publish that stuff on LinkedIn or something. Mm-hmm. Maybe. Anyway, other questions.
So the other question I have is, was there a valid consignment agreement, and how theoretically could you research whether there was a consignment agreement?
Yeah, so that's another question. And some of the different videos is whether or not the consignment agreement was legal. First of all, the franchisees say that they had a permission from corporate to be able to do the consignment. Corporate says that stuff is not legal. However, if the franchisees show us some documentation and corporate shows us other documentation, what we can do is go look for independent documentation that has nothing to do with coming from either side, going to other franchises, right, to see whether or not it was allowed. Then the second part is the Manzels signed an agreement with the original franchisees. And so we need to look at that agreement and put it through lawyers to identify whether that is a legal agreement as well. So we can go through the contracts themselves, store marketing materials, referencing the collection, identify the kind of, also identify whether or not the corporate side has allowed consignment in the past and that sort of thing.
I think actually that's a really good point. It's looking at the base level as it would apply to all of the franchises, and to see if that was something that was done at other locations. Yeah, that's
right.
So the next question I have is, did the corporate know about the collection before the ownership transition?
Okay, so according to Reckless Ben and Manzel, etc., is that corporate knew the collection existed because of that video, specifically the video that they have where the franchisee is leaving, say, we've got this, you know, and then the new guy coming in says, not your problem, business problem. And so that would indicate that they did, although it could be that that person came in and just said that to get them out so that they could just finish what they were supposed to do, which was shut down the store. They may not have been paying much attention. They may have heard that there's going to be a lot of, or they may have been like on guard, because it seems kind of like a hostile takedown of the store. So they may have been on guard to like not listen to any sort of excuses, not process them, nothing, just shut down, don't take anything, just walk your butts out. Right. And so whether or not they really did know. So the question is like, how do I identify that stuff? It's going to be really hard to get some internal evidence that they did know, text messages, etc. But we can maybe find in some cases some discussion online or reasons that they should have known, right? The marketing campaign, for example, when the franchise marketed that $200,000 collection, did corporate do nothing? Did they not help market? Did they not spread the word of such a huge collection being in that kind of a coup for Bricks Minifigs as a franchise? So I would be looking for them helping market that material.
I'm going to skip a few of my questions to go to one because I noticed the time.
Yeah, we've got time for like one question.
But I did want to ask one more question, and I think it's a really important one. And I mean, my response is I think he's done both. But was Reckless Ben acting as an investigator or harasser? What was the line between the two? Like, when do you stop? When did he stop being an investigator to becoming a harasser?
Right. Yeah. So according to him, he was just documenting the dispute. But some of the things that he did was he was trespassing, even when they sent him to leave. Thus, having them sign a contract under false pretenses. According to him, he thinks that if you sign a contract in the United States, that contract is good regardless of whatever else happens at that point, whether you're tricked into it or not. And so just even that, not even looking up ahead of time whether or not that was going to go, was going to work, then I think that even that first trick is crossed over into illegal territories. Now, I don't know if that went into harassment. Harassment was when, after he was trespassed, he came back in and was trespassed again. Then he set up a booth in front of them using their own logo as his tagline. I think that was harassment. He kept going back to the store manager. He knew her by name and kept talking to her specifically. Social media interactions, there's a lot of things that we could say that borderline went over, maybe not even borderline, just went over into harassment. Standing outside the guy's house, that sort of thing. Getting OSINT for that, he provided it all himself in his own videos.
Right. Yep.
Yep.
So okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So really interesting case. It's still ongoing and something that we're not going to be updating. This is not a news, but this is not a news show formatting. We're not going to keep updating what's new, what's happening, etc. We're just trying to tell you, how you can do a little bit of OSINT analysis on it, and especially some of the things that are really capturing people's eyes right now. But I know a lot of places you can follow it. Follow it on CoffeeZilla, follow it on Reckless Ben's own channel, although I have a feeling he's going to be a little bit quieter about it recently. Runkle the Bailey's following it pretty closely, and so is Legal Eagle. And so, there's a million places online, people talking about it, but I would go to those people. And the reason I would go specifically to those is because a lot of them are more authoritative, because I noticed that everybody's putting their 2 cents in on this, including us, right? But a lot of them are, it's more emotion based rather than is this right or wrong kind of based. As a citizen, I wouldn't want, even if, somebody was stealing some stuff from my house, I wouldn't want somebody harassing another person for that, right? I would want things to be done in the right way.
Yep.
Sarah.
I was just going to add on also, though, related to OSINT, because we're not going to have time to go to it. One of the things that I think you mentioned in notes was, in addition to, like we talked about, analysis of competing hypotheses, but you can also make a very nice evidence matrix with this kind of case to kind of visualize the, graphically all of the different components, which can really help you break it down.
Yeah, there's a lot of analysis techniques that will help you absolutely, break down and make things a little easier to follow, especially for something that has so many threads as this. We've got another person on LinkedIn that says, hi, I'm sorry, LinkedIn today is not showing us who's saying hello, but we wanted to say hello back.
Yes.
So,
hello, LinkedIn user. Thank you for stopping by.
Yep. And I say hello back, but even as I typed it in the chat, it doesn't even go to LinkedIn, I don't think. LinkedIn's a little stingy with communication with this thing. I do want to show you one last thing before we go, though.
Okay.
And so that is, if I go to our website, on our website, by the way, I've updated our resources. You might go and check that out. But we're talking about the Academy. We've got a little store right there. In our Academy store, one of the courses that we have available is our upcoming 2026 OSINT Comprehensive. So if you go down past the sections into the feature, you've got OSINT Comprehensive 2026. This is top to bottom, everything OSINT. So we're talking everything from OPSEC to saving your evidence to automation for future content. This is on sale right now. It comes with an OSC certification voucher. If you're not familiar with OSC, that's open source certification presented by Osmosis Association. It's the only community-wide one that's not tied to one specific company. There are several different companies that can provide training and resell the voucher, and we are one of those. And so we are offering that embedded in our OSINT Comprehensive, $300 off if you sign up and register before the July 1st deadline. So again, if you want to sign up, you can also get it without that OSC certification if you want, but that is going to be valuable in the future. All right, so Courtney, thank you, Courtney. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with LinkedIn either. I think last week it let us see the names of people who are talking to us on LinkedIn, and this week not so much. So thank you for joining us, though.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for coming by.
All right, and I don't think we put any nuggets in this week for our own little nuggets about what's going on this week, but stay tuned. We'll see you again next week. I think we're probably going to reschedule next week to the same thing like Thursday. And the reason I think that, Sarah, is because I'm going to be teaching a class. So if you're interested in watching us again, we'll be back probably next Thursday. We'll try to let everybody know.
I will have coffee.
Yes.
Because there's...
Well, it might not be so great. We'll discuss it and we'll promote it. So, all right. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you to our sponsors. Osmosis Association, OSINT Cocktail, Paraben Corp, and Forensic OSINT. Plesses.net powering off.